Hello Spooklets and welcome back to the channel, and if this is the first time you are seeing this face,
subscribe to Spooky Shit.
So if you are new, on a Monday 7 PM UK time we have paranormal investigations go up, and on a Thursday we talk about the ghosties. And today I have chosen to talk about the Ancient Ram Inn. Also, before we get started, a massive thank you to the subscribers on the channel that are channel members. You guys are awesome. But without further ado, let's talk about the Ancient Ram Inn. So I am on a site called Travel Awaits, and they say the amazing story behind England's haunted Ancient Ram Inn and reasons to visit. Often called the most haunted house in Britain, the uniquely historic Ancient Ram Inn also happens to be the oldest building in Watton-under-Edge, a small village in England about 40 minutes from Bristol. It is known as one of the most unique properties in the region and has its fair share of strange history and mystery, plus a host of unique residents. So the story behind England's haunted Ancient Ram Inn, the ancient history of the inn. The Ancient Ram Inn has a rather interesting past with multiple former lives to tell. The inn dates back to 1145, and before that the site was home to a multi-millennia pagan burial ground that lies on the ley lines, which trace directly back to the ancient and mysterious site of Stonehenge. This connection gives rise to a legend that the strange paranormal happenings documented on the property relate to its unique past. The building that stands today was constructed in 1145 as the home for slaves, masons and other workers building the St Mary's Church nearby. Streams on the grounds had to be diverted around the church's site, which according to many opened up the portal for the dark energy once used in rituals performed by pagans in the area. After the masons and other workers moved out, the house became home to a priest. Later it was made into an inn and public house. In 1968, however, someone new bought the inn and made it his home but did not expect to be part of a ghost hunt. The sole occupant of the inn for many years, John Humphreys, bought the place in the late 1960s to preserve it from destruction. The first night he stayed on the property, he says he met the spirits that make this inn one of the most haunted spots in England. He claims that demonic forces grabbed him by the arm and dragged him across the room from his bed. Since that time, he's found evidence of ritual sacrifices and devil worship on the inn's grounds. Even more horrifying, he's come across the skeletal remains of children he believes were stabbed with daggers. The ghostly spirits never discouraged Humphreys from maintaining his residence there. Though his wife and daughters left him at the inn, he remained preserving the building. Night after night the spirits returned, but Humphreys stuck it out for more than 50 years until his death in late 2017. So who haunts this house? There are several entities believed to haunt the inn turned home. Perhaps the most famous is a witch that was burned at the stake in the area during the 1500s, the height of witch hunting. The woman fled from potential trial by government-sanctioned witch hunters and took refuge in the Ancient Ram Inn. She was soon captured, however, and burnt at the stake. Of course, she lives on in legend. The room where she hid has been dubbed the Witch's Room, and her spirit is believed to be haunting it to this day. There are also stories of the former innkeeper's daughter hanged in the attic, the spirits of ritually murdered children, exorcisms and other dark, haunting events in the millennia-old inn. Orbs of these spirits have been photographed by paranormal investigators and the curious. Strange lights have terrified visitors hoping for a peek into the afterlife. The Bishop's Room is considered the most haunted in the inn. This is where bishops stayed in days past, and the room is supposedly haunted by the spirits of several bishops today. Dark monks and evil spirits, including the spirits of these bishops, are said to be seen here on the regular. Even a Roman centurion has appeared on horseback riding through the walls toward plumbers who were minding their own business. An incubus and succubus supposedly haunt the room that John Humphreys selected for his sleeping quarters, mistreating those brave enough to stay overnight. The men's kitchen, which allegedly stands on the site of pagan burial ground, is the first room that visitors encounter and is haunted by the unsettling echoes of a baby's cry. A photograph captured here in June 1999 depicts a puzzling white mist about the height of a human ascending the staircase. Some guests claim that an invisible force had propelled them up the stairs from this very spot. The attic is haunted as well. Climbing there and crouching beneath the roof timbers, a feeling of intense melancholy appears to hang in the air. Sounds supposedly come from a former owner's daughter who was murdered in this roof space in the early 1500s by hanging. The attic was used by John's daughter, Carolyn Humphreys, as her sleeping quarters. The sounds of something heavy being dragged across the floor above were frequently reported by people sleeping in the bishop's room below. The Mayflower Barn. The barn, dating back to the 18th century, is haunted by a 7-foot-tall dark spectre that acts aggressively towards men but favours a certain type of female. This ominous figure materialises in the barn's doorway, seemingly guarding or protecting something within. So who owns the inn now? Carolyn Humphreys, John Humphrey's daughter, now has possession of the ancient Ram Inn and has given invitations to archaeologists to study its unique history. The hotel remains open to visitors. Most are paranormal tourists who test their mettle by staying overnight. So, frequently asked questions: can I go on a ghost hunt at the Ram Inn? You can. An overnight ghost hunt at the inn includes group vigils and experiments as ghost hunters try to contact the active spirits attached to this historic building. You partake in ghost hunts in small groups for a much more personal paranormal investigation. So the ancient Ram Inn is a Grade 2 listed building, and it says that it is now a tourist attraction, primarily operating as a paranormal event location. So another frequently asked question is what parts of the Ram Inn are haunted? And they say that the entire inn is supposedly haunted, but the most haunted room is the bishop's room on the first floor of the house. So obviously one of the frequently asked questions people are going to ask, have people caught evidence of the ghost activities goings on in the ancient Ram Inn? And they say the inn has been investigated by various paranormal researchers, but none have offered concrete evidence so far. However, evidence of worship and ritual sacrifice is real. Also, an ancient pagan burial ground is reported to have resided on the site. We're now going to move over because I wanted to find somebody that's been and had experiences to talk about that as well. So we're on the website weirdwiltshire.co.uk, and it's my first ever ghost hunt at the ancient Ram Inn. So within their blog that they've put on their website, obviously they tell you the history, but we've just spoke about that, so I've flicked past that. So they go on to ghosts and phenomena at the ancient Ram Inn. There are so many spirits and instances of paranormal activity that people have witnessed or sensed in the ancient Ram Inn. I'm just going to list them. So we've got ghostly priests, a cavalier, shadows, apparitions including that of a girl found hanging in the attic, cold spots, being thrown up the stairs and across a room by unseen hands, orbs and strange light anomalies. I can't say that word. A succubus, please tell me I'm saying that word right. Dogs growling and babies crying. Screaming, thought to be a man who died after having his head thrust into the fire. Ow. A witch sheltering in the inn before she was found and taken away to be burnt at the stake. Phantom shepherd and his dog. Dragging furniture noises and footsteps. Voices. John, the old owner, is said to turn up. So they start off their night by exploring, which is this is what we do. When we go to a new place, we have to explore. We don't just get straight into the investigation. I do find as well with the explore, you could build up an energy by walking around, talking to each other, things like that. But one thing I will say is always keep a camera rolling just in case something happens. So they tried the Ouija board, but apparently that was uneventful. But they say, as we were all fussing around getting seated, I saw a black shadow with a head shape floating along a wall and in front of the window at the far end of the attic room by the bed. There was no one in that room. I wasn't involved with the board, as I think you shouldn't mess with things you don't know about. I did stay and observe. We all noticed we were getting hot, cold, hot and sweaty again. That was strange, and it wasn't just me and my hormones. Others experienced it too. So they did see a shadow. So they tried table tipping, but by the looks of it, it wasn't successful. So the person that wrote this says they don't buy into the table tipping, which is fair enough. We all have our own beliefs. Me, myself, yeah, I'm the same. But they did try table tipping, and apparently the table did move and tip. But they go on to say that, well, obviously, when you're trying to stay still, you're a living being. There's no such thing. You naturally move without realising it. And I think if you want that to move, subconsciously you're going to move it, if that makes sense. For me to do table tipping or the Ouija board, that's another one, because you will move that planchette. You will, because you just do. It has to move. So let's talk about the Ouija board. So I've done the Ouija board a few times. Nothing's ever happened. It's moved slightly, but again, natural movements from the people that, myself and the people that I'm with. But it would really have to move for me to think, okay, no, what was that? Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with table tipping. If it rocks slightly, it's one of us. It has to be. It might not be, I'm not saying that, but for me and my evidence on my paranormal journey myself, I would have to have serious movement from something. Apparently they did have strange words come up on the Alice box, which is, I do believe the Alice box is like a word bank, and words come out. So at the end of the investigation, this person says, "Am I still a skeptical believer?" And then they go on to say, well, that's a topic for another day. This blog is long enough already. But in short, yes. I still believe in something. What it is, I still don't know. That being said, if there are ghosts in this world, I am pretty sure a few of them live at the ancient Ramin. So with some of that, they had a chat the next day over a phone call, and they were trying to debunk more again. And they do say that there was a lot that they couldn't explain. So again, this is weirdwiltshire.co.uk. If you want to read their entire blog of their night, pop over and have a read. But I'm glad I picked this one now, because with them being a skeptical believer, and for them to say that they do think that if there are ghosts in this world, some of them live in the ancient Ramin, that means something. The ancient Ramin is somewhere I would like to visit one day. I just torture myself doing these Thursday videos. I tell you, last week was Chillingham Castle, so if you missed that one, please go see that, because that's an interesting one and I really want to visit that. And now the ancient Ramin. I'm just torturing myself. So I'm on bbc.co.uk. I'm just trying to read more on this, should I say. So Carol Humphreys, who lives in that place and owns it now, she says strange things happened from the moment her family moved in. So BBC presenters stayed at the ancient Ramin. So the one show spent the night. 20 other guests had paid for the experience. Danny Robbins, who hosts the BBC's Uncanny podcast, was also there. He said, "This is the ultimate scare B&B. It's got everything, this place." A lot of people want ghosts to be true. I think it's really exciting, the idea of ghosts existing. The idea of ghosts is optimistic. Ghosts are the antidote to death, so it's a lovely idea. As scary as it might be, it presents hope, which is true, and this is why I do go out doing what I'm doing. I go out to get concrete evidence, not just for people watching. It's for me. It's for me to get that evidence, and it goes on YouTube for anyone that wants to join my paranormal journey with me. So yeah, for me it presents hope. It presents hope that there's life after death, that when you die it's not the end. And that's why I want to know. That's why I want to get that proof. I have had that proof, but I still want more. But I need to get it on camera. So we continue on the paranormal investigations. So I'm just on Reddit, and because I just wanted to find somebody else's experience before going, and this person says, "I've been to the ancient Ramin on a ghost hunt fairly recently, which was pretty creepy, and I wanted to share my adventure. I went in quite skeptical, and it was clear some stuff was done for the sake of entertainment." Oh dear, really? Has anybody been to the Ancient Ramin, and do you feel that some things have been done for entertainment? This is my problem with paid locations. I don't think they all do it at all, but you pay a lot of money to go stay somewhere, and I don't want it rigged if I do. This is why I haven't done one yet. I'd like to do one, to experience one. I've said I want to go to Chillingham Castle. I want to go to the Ancient Ramin. I want to go to 30 East Drive. I get mixed signals about that. Just being there would be cool anyway. But it really bugs me that when you think about it, if nothing happens, right, in these places, word's going to get round, and then nobody's going to want to go and pay all that money to spend a night somewhere that's meant to be haunted, and people get nothing. So to me, these places being rigged makes sense. Again, I don't think all of them do it at all. I'm not going to name any that I do think do it, because I don't want to do that. But like the Ancient Ramin is somewhere that I never heard of anybody say, I think things were done for entertainment. But they do feel that they got some genuine feeling experiences, which is good. But it does bug me. I mean, did things happen and they thought, is this put on? So it might not have been put on, but because they're skeptical, they're thinking, is this put on? But this is what bugs me about paid locations so bad. So bad. So the first experience, they say, was involving a mirror seance thing. And they say, hopefully someone can provide the correct term, as I don't know. Scrying. Anyway, as soon as I sat down to do this seance, my face morphed into a blooded young looking World War II pilot. And then they go on to say there are no stories of anything pilot related in that building as far as the owner knew. But obviously they saw something, so that's quite crazy. They also say they was also stood quite a ways away from someone else who was doing the mirror thing. And I noticed their face morph in front of my very eyes to a thing that looked like Valak, the creepy demon nun. Oh my days. My family member also had her hair pulled in the same building, and a friend who suddenly filled with so much emotion that they had to leave the room in a fit of tears, perfectly fine literally seconds before that. The last experience of the night happened when we were sat in the barn. A relative for some reason said Lucifer, and we still cannot work out why they said it. The second they said that, a big bang and scuffling came from one of the furthest rooms in the pub, bearing in mind everybody that's in the building is sat in this one room. Okay, that's really, really crazy. So yeah, I'm going to stop it there. Obviously, if you just Google experiences at the Ancient Ramin and you'll find some stories. But I just wanted to talk a bit about with you because, again, the Ancient Ramin interests me. I love the history side of these buildings more than anything. And then the legend, ghostly stories as well. I love reading on them, whether I think they're real or not. But I want to go experience something, so I need to pick the right paid location to go experience something. And yeah, one day we are going to go investigate somewhere special. One day, I promise it will happen. One day I will bite the bullet and go pay a location. What do you think to paid locations? Do you think that a lot of them are rigged? Again, I don't think they all are. I do know of some that I'd like to visit anyway that I don't think they're rigged at all. But what do you think to them? My mindset is why it's the bigger, more popular ones that are a lot of money. If you get nothing, you're going to tell people you got nothing, so it's going to put people off. And then they will tell other people that say, oh, I'm interested in going to so-and-so. Well, actually, so-and-so got nothing. So it's that risk anyway, because paranormal, I'd rather go and get nothing and it not be rigged, just for the experience of being there. So I don't care about anything happening. It's the rigged bit, but these people that own these buildings think that people will only want to go for a paranormal experience, which a lot of people will want to, because they will leave because they don't understand that paranormal is rare. They will leave thinking, oh, well, this is crap. Do you know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense. So I do think a lot of places are rigged to draw more and more people in to experience something. But that's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments. We'll have a chat. Have a chat. Has anyone been to the Ancient Ramin? Have you had an experience? Do you think it's rigged? Did you have a quiet night? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, we start recording. Give me some ideas of places that you'd like me to talk about, you'd like to hear me talk about, let me know in the comments. But I have got some lined up as well, which is cool. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I love your company, and I will speak to you all in my next video. But until then, sleep tight.